Hello, my name is Arjuna Arda and welcome back. This is the third video. In the first one I talked about what is awakening. In the second one we discussed what is coaching. And now we're going to see how the explosion of awakening that is happening all over the planet and the explosion of coaching that is emerging, how these two fit perfectly together into a completely new way of experiencing human evolution. Awakening is actually a very simple thing. Awakening simply means to shift the attention from a mentally created world of evaluation, regret, fear, desire, comparison, into direct experience, where there is joy, where there is connection and intimacy, where there is love, and where there is the possibility to really give your gifts without the mentally imposed world of self-doubt. Now, awakening is such a simple thing. It has gotten wrapped up with a lot of more complex ideas. The primary one being enlightenment. Now, as you get to know me better, you'll find I'm a bit of a renegade in this respect. Personally, I've had the experience that enlightenment, the idea of a final state of arrival that you kind of evolve and then bam, you're enlightened, tends to keep us retarded as human beings. Because what happens, you see, when you hold up the idea of a state of ultimate enlightenment and you start to compare other people, is this person enlightened? Oh, I think you end up putting all of the attention outside of yourself. So enlightenment is mostly a word used to compare who we are, what we are in this moment, and make it not good enough. Mostly people speak about enlightenment when they're aspiring to become enlightened. When we speak of awakening, it's not the same thing as what people say when they talk about enlightenment. And I'm not saying it's different because it's not as good as enlightenment. I'm saying the very idea of enlightenment, as far as I can see, is bogus. It was a concept created by the hypermasculine mind, which loves to make everything into breaking through obstacles and reaching a goal. But life is not like that. Life is here. Life is now. Life is a constant invitation in this moment to give everything fully. Awakening means that in this moment now, at least in this moment, we can step aside from the evaluating of the mind into immediacy, into reality, and give gifts out of that vast mystery of presence, give gifts into this realm. Up until now, awakening has often happened within hierarchical and patriarchal contexts. So a lot of talk about the ultimate potential of human consciousness, about reality, about awakening, has happened in traditions handed down by men, very often in the Orient, and very often in a hierarchical organization. So you have the head of the organization, an inner circle, trained facilitators, assistants to trained facilitators, and then the common rabble. This is, of course, how large religions have operated, but it's also, in the last years, how many organizations have set up camp in the West to offer awakening as a sort of gift that's handed down through a hierarchy, which usually you pay money for, to get something from somebody else. With coaching, with awakening coaching, we are offering a radically different model of how that can happen. An awakening coach is trained to facilitate awakening with another person by asking the right questions, by holding space of certainty. An awakening coach can help their client to recognize who they already are. So it's not that the coach is giving somebody a transmission, here, let me make you enlightened. No. The coach is asking, okay, before you go to a lot of trouble to do a lot of stuff to try and improve yourself, find out who you are already. Find out what is here before you try and improve it. Our coaches do charge fees which are commensurate with other kinds of coaching, but they're not charging the client to be given something they don't already have. Our coaches are professionals who are trained to hold a space for the client, who can then go through their own process of discovery and realization that what they were looking for outside is actually who they already are. And more important, the coach is trained to support the client to bring forth the gift of that awakening into the context of their life. So if they're in business leadership, to bring that forth in the context of business leadership. If they are parents, to bring that forth in their parenting, etc. When you look at it, awakening, when we see what it really is, how could it happen in any other context? The whole idea of giving somebody something they don't already have, it just falls apart as soon as we get the joke that what we have been seeking for is what we already are. We've been looking for a state in the future that we're going to get from somebody else, and it's actually who we already are. These days, awakening has become an epidemic. You may be aware of my 2005 book, The Translucent Revolution, where I document exhaustively, it took me 3 years full-time to research that book. I did 170 in-depth interviews and 13,000 surveys, and through many of the luminaries that I was able to connect with, I had access to the experience of millions of people. Awakening now is an epidemic. People all over the planet are snapping out of the trance of separation and recognizing that who they are is already complete, already perfect, already whole and one. There is no childhood to heal. There is a childhood to wake up from. There is no ego to get rid of. There is the appearance of an ego to wake up from. Coaching is the perfect way to ask the right questions which breaks the trance of separation. The revolution that is happening in consciousness now is not just that people are waking up more and more, but it's also the context in which that awakening is happening. People who are waking up today in this way are remaining fully involved in the world. They remain sexual. They're in relationships. They're parents. They are committed to contributing fully to life, to the social and political process, to the educational process, to business. The context in which awakening is happening is completely different than what we've seen before. And just as the context is different, the way that it can be facilitated is also different. And this is the beauty of bringing these two things together, awakening of consciousness and coaching, so that it happens in a way that is respectful, empowering, and allows the client to recognize that what they were looking for in external things is actually who they already are.